Hey guys, this is Sagar Kasat. Welcome you all to the lecture number 2 of your auditing and assurance. So guys, what we are going to do in this particular session? Sir, we will be starting off with the syllabus from your chapter number 1. Before that, I want to tell you some things which are very important to be taken care of during our entire all the classes. Clear with this? So very first thing beta, please understand during the classes you should have very first thing 100 pages notebook. What I'm saying guys, you should have 100 pages notebook. So why we need 100 pages notebook? But you need this for writing down, noting down very important part whatever I'll be writing down on our class slides. Okay, let's say charts, let's say summary charts or summary points, so that you have to note it down in your class notes, this notebook. And why I have mentioned 100 pages, very important thing, your this notebook should not exceed of 100 pages. Why? Because you should be able to revise this entire notebook with the entire syllabus number of times. If you exceed with this number of pages, I'm saying just around 100 pages, so it's not like that it should not be 101. Guys, please understand, you are that much mature, right? So it should be around of 100 pages, and please try to maintain that as much as lower number of pages possible. Why? Because you will be able to revise that number of times, and that will help you a lot. So sir, very first reason why students could not actually score good number in this particular subject, this is the very important reason, that students don't have writing practice. They just try to listen, they just try to understand, but they do not write, they do not do the practice. Sir, practice will be there only for the practical subject, not the, look at guys, very important thing, this is the practical subject, but this is not numerical. So you believe that there is no need of practice in this subject, but it is completely wrong. You need a very good practice in this particular subject of writing the answers, writing the concepts. That is the most important thing. Okay, what is the benefit, what is the logic behind this? If you want logic, I'll tell you that whenever you write something, okay, your mind will have that understanding, your mind will have that conceptual clarity, your mind will have that thought process, your mind will have that complete knowledge. But how to reach out that mind to your exam paper? That will be through your hands. You'll find this example very tricky or something like boring, but very important thing guys, whenever you write in your examination, your mind, your understanding, you are not able to write it down on the paper, because you cannot actually convert that to what a language ICI is expecting from your side. And that is the most important thing which you have to take care about, and for that you need writing practice. And that's why I am saying please maintain this 100 pages notebook. Okay, very important thing. If you guys do not have right now, please pause the video, just take a 100 pages notebook along with me, and then start the video, then start watching the lectures. Very important thing. The second most important thing, you should have these notes preferably in the printable format, hard format, hard copies. Okay, and I will recommend to take that in color format. Okay, you can take a Xerox copies of this, but take a color Xerox copy. Why? Because you will be able to actually then note it down, and you will be able to actually check it out, these keywords which I have highlighted in red current. Are you guys getting? Otherwise, if you cannot actually take, or if you might have not taken in color prints, then what you can do is you should have highlighter. So whenever we will be going through your notes, going through these notes, what you have to do, you have to highlight the keywords what I have highlighted in the notes. Clear with this? Very important thing. And the next important thing, whenever I will be explaining, you should not write anything. You have to just concentrate on what I am saying, what I am explaining on the board towards me. Perfect. After that, you have to pause the video. Whatever you want to write it down, you have to pause the video, you should write it down, and then continue the video. Okay, clear with this? Next point, if you miss something to actually write it down, you will be getting these class slides as well in our classes. Okay, you will get these notes, you will get these class slides, whatever I write on this whiteboard. Okay, you will be getting that in the PDF format or in the image format, so you can refer that any number of times to actually revise this. You will be getting charts as well, and you will be getting question and answer bank as well. So you will be getting everything that is possible in this world to make your this particular subject very strong from exam perspective, from practical perspective, everything. Clear? So now I won't take too much time and we will quickly start with your very first chapter, that is your nature, objective and scope of audit. Before that, very first concept of this particular chapter, so what is audit? So sir, we understood in very first lecture, sir, audit is an examination of financial information. Very easy, sir. What is that? Examination of financial information. By whom? By whom? By whom? Please tell me now. Sir, it is by independent person, right? So very first thing, audit is an independent examination. Okay? Independent examination. We have this definition in our notes, but I'm still writing that because I have to explain each and every word out of this definition. Are you guys getting? You will find this definition exactly over here. Okay? And I'll tell you what is this SA 200 and everything. Don't worry about it. Okay? I just want to build your concept now. Well, look at this. Audit is an independent examination of what? Of financial information. So sir, now what is financial information? I'll tell you, just wait and watch. Of financial information of any entity. Of any entity, irrespective of its size and nature. Irrespective of its size and nature. Irrespective of its size and nature, very important, with a view to express an opinion thereon. What I'm saying? With a view to express an opinion thereon. Please guys. Okay? Sure. Now look at this 100% concentration, guys. Very first thing. Sir, audit is an independent examination. What we learned in lecture number 1 while understanding audit concepts, sir, in layman language, audit is an examination of financial information or financial statements of the entity. Perfect. Examine kar rahe hai. What we are doing? We are examining the financial statements. Okay. Sir, but that examination should be by independent person. What is independent? I explained you in lecture number 1. So independent means any such person who do not have any relationship with the company for which he is supposed to perform the audit. Are you guys getting? For which he is going to perform the audit, he should not have any relationship with that company. So what kind of relationship? We will understand that later. But very simple way. So what kind of relation it can be? Let's say it is the company of my own brother. It is the company of my father. It is the company of my mother. It is the company of my sister. Direct relationship. Or it is the company of my, let's say if any auditor, it is the company of the auditor's wife. So any such interest, if it is possible between the company and that person, then that person is not eligible to perform the audit of that company or that entity. Why, sir? Why we should not actually look at, why we have to actually take care about this independence? Why it should be independent? Very important thing. Now, before going ahead with this definition, I'll just quickly link it out. Sure. Why independence is required? Now look at why audit is performed. To understand that, you should have understanding of why audit. Okay. Very first thing. Sir, let's say example, this is my company of, let's say, XYZ Limited. Okay. Now, this is the public company. Public company. It means they have issued their shares to the common public. Okay. Normal public, common public. So now there are, let's say, 1,000 shareholders of this particular company. These are the shareholders, 1,000 shareholders. Okay. So there would be lot of shareholders. Who are the owners of that company? Technically, Equity shareholders are the owners of that company, right? You must have learned this in law, right? So sir, please understand. But sir, these people are doing their job. They are just investing their money. Look at this. What they are doing? They are just invested. They have just invested their money. But they don't know, sir, what is happening in this company. What company needs to show to this particular shareholders? Who are these? These are owners, shareholders. So sir, now if these shareholders, these owners are actually have invested their own money into this company, this is what their capital to run the business. They should know how actually company is running, okay, on periodic basis. And for that purpose, the company prepares financial statements, right? Financial statements, that how the company is actually performing and how the company has performed during last 1 year, okay, during a respective financial year. Okay, so that is the reason the company prepares the financial statements and present what was the impact of their transactions, what company has entered into during the last whatever the financial year for which they are preparing through P&L statement. What is the position as on the balance sheet date through the balance sheet? For the period ended for the financial year, what is actually the movement of cash flow? So through the cash flow statement. And to give the detailed understanding of this breakup of P&L and balance sheet, they prepare the notes to accounts, right? And according to Ind AS, what they include here, that is your, please tell me, according to Ind AS, what they include here, that is your statement of changes in equity. I told you, yes or no? What is this statement of changes in equity? Just to understand in very short, okay, that is the concept of Ind AS. But just to understand in very short, sir, what is the equity share capital? You know balance sheet, right? Now in balance sheet, you find here in very simple way, I am doing just T format. Now T format is not valid. You have, according to Schedule 3 of Companies Act, you have the format, vertical format of your balance sheet and P&L, right? Financial statements. I'm just saying for your understanding purpose, in T format of balance sheet, you have here your share capital, right? And you have, sir, reserves and surplus. Are you guys there with me? Yes. So this is something, okay. After that, you have here your liabilities, you have complete assets, and this is how your balance sheet would tally. Very simple, sir. So now this is what your equity, entire share capital plus reserve, this is what your equity. Now please look at the wording, statement of changes in equity. What they are saying, during the year, sir, this balance sheet is as at, let's say, 31st March 2021, okay. So now let's say the balance sheet is at 31st March 21. So now last reporting period was 31st March 2020 as on balance sheet. So this is the opening balance, this is the closing balance. What is the change in the amount of equity? This equity amount, what is the change between this particular amount during this 1 year, one financial year, means changes between the opening and closing balance, that will be actually indicated through this statement of changes in equity. How the equity, opening balance and closing balance actually consist of during the movements between these two dates, okay, movements between the opening balance and closing balance of your equity, that is what indicated through the statement of changes in equity, just to make it very simple to understand. Clear? Very easy. So now, sir, these financial statements will be actually prepared by the company for whom? For these shareholders, owners, plus others who have interest, within the company. So now this interest need not necessary to be of the financial interest. Are you guys getting? So let's say, sir, I am the supplier of this company. Okay, so I provide the raw materials to the XYZ Limited for the purpose of manufacturing of their products. I am the customer of this company. I am the bank who provides the loan to XYZ Limited. Are you guys getting? So there are a lot of other people are also involved who have the relationship with the company, and altogether when we consist all these people together, we give the name of all these as stakeholders. Stakeholder, not the shareholders. Are you guys getting? Stakeholders, not the shareholders. Stakeholders, stake. Did you guys understood? Perfect. So now what I'm saying, please understand. Now these financial statements are not just for the shareholders, those are for the stakeholders. Stakeholders already includes the shareholders as well. Shareholder is a part of the stakeholder, right? Stakeholders include shareholders as well as others, means customers, suppliers, lenders. Are you guys getting? Perfect. Sure. And others. So now, sir, whenever company provides this financial statement just to these particular stakeholders, why they need the financial statement? So we understand from the shareholder perspective that they have invested their money with the company, so they should know what the company is doing actually out of their money. Are you guys getting? Very simple, sir. If you have the business, if I have invested my money, hard earned money in your business, I should know how you are running the business on my money. Are you guys getting? Ekdam perfect. So now, sir, for that purpose, I completely understand that you should tell me, you should actually disclose me through the financial statements. Clear? But what is the relevance for others? What is the relevance to disclose the financial information to the supplier? Very, very relevant, sir. Because let's say if you have business, if I am the raw material provider, okay. But when I provide you the raw materials, it is very important thing that whether I will be able to receive, whether I will receive the money from you or not. So for that thing, I should know what is your business actually doing, what is your financial position, whether you are in such a position that you will be able to pay off my money. Are you guys getting? Pay off me money. Perfect. Against what I have provided you the raw materials. That is absolutely right. So very simple, sir. For suppliers, it is very important to take the decision whether to do business with that respective company or not. For that thing, supplier should actually have the understanding of the financial position of their customer, because XYZ Limited would be the customer for the supplier. Now, sir, we understand for shareholders, for suppliers, it is very important to have this understanding. So, financial statements are required. Now, for customers also it is required, because customers would want to have a deal with such companies who are trustworthy, who will be providing the quality, who will be providing the best product. Are you guys getting? So now if I want to take something from some company and that is a very good quality product, so what that indicates, how I'll be deciding whether that company is providing me quality product or not, how the value of that company is there in my mind. Absolutely right. If the company do something fraud and they do not disclose any financial information to the others, how will I come to know whether the company has the correct goals or not? They are doing fraud, I won't come to know, and they might actually provide something defective products to me by doing fraud, and that is how it affects the interest of public at large. Are you guys getting? And that is the reason the company will be preparing financial statements and disclosing that to the shareholders plus others, that is stakeholders. Now, sir, when we understand the company is providing the financial statements, they are only the preparer of that financial statements. So if the company is of mine, if I want to do something adjustments in my financial statement, I can do that. Absolutely. Let's say my company's revenue is of 1000 crores. Okay. But sir, usually my company's revenue is around 1000 crore, but during the year, the company's revenue has gone down, let's say, to 600 crores. Now, if company's revenue has gone down such significantly lower way, then it will badly impact to my stakeholders, right? My shareholders will be my shareholders will not be interested actually. They might sell the shares of my company. So my goodwill in the market will go down. And that is the reason I might actually inflate that amount of revenue. Are you guys getting? So what I'll do? In actual, the current year revenue is of 600 crores. But sir, I might show that as a 900 crore or 800 crore. Why? Because I want to maintain the interest of stakeholders into my company, right? And if I am the only person who will be preparing that financial statements, who want to disclose that information to the stakeholders, I might disclose the 900 crore. Whether they will be coming to my company and checking all that, whether that is 900 crore or 600 crore, they will be relying on that financial statements only, right? Absolutely right. Yes, sir. So now, sir, if they are relying on such financial statements and which are prepared by the management of the company, means what? Me, the company, management of the company. Management is the person who are actually controlling that company, managing that company, right? Top management. So now when the top management, middle management is actually preparing that financial statement, they might take a benefit of this for their own benefit. They might disclose the wrong information in the financial statement just to actually avoid certain implications of the actual fact, which might result into adverse implications basically from stakeholder side. And that is the reason a middleman comes into picture, a third party comes into picture to secure, please understand, please tell me along with me, to secure the interest of these stakeholders, to secure the interest of these stakeholders, and this middleman is auditor. To secure the interest of these stakeholders, this middleman comes into picture, who is the auditor. Perfect. So what he says, sir, why this is requirement? Did you understood? So now this is the requirement. Why this is requirement? Now this third person will come, will examine the financial statement, whether the financial statement prepared and presented by the management of the company, by the company, are true and fair or not. Please understand what I'm saying. True and fair, not true and correct. I'll tell you the reason why not true and correct, why only true and fair. But for the time being, please understand what this third person will be doing. This third person will be examining whether the financial statements prepared and presented by the company, by the management, whether that is appropriate or not, whether there should not be any adjustment in that, okay, which might affect the interest of the stakeholders. Now please tell me, if this third person is also the employee of company, then sir, if this third person, auditor, if we tell that, sir, employee will be performing the audit of that company, obviously whether he will be able to examine that financial statement on unbiased way. Are you guys getting? Unbiasedness. So there would be the biasness involved, right? He will not be able to actually perform or examine the financial statements of its such company in which he is in employment. Absolutely, he will not be able to perform that independently. And that is the reason independence is required. An employee is not an independent person. Why? Because he has a relationship with the company. Let's say the wife of managing director, MD of the company, and wife of MD, obviously she also has an interest in that company, right? Why MD will be able to manage that easily. If MD want to show 900 crore, he can manage that easily with his wife, that you don't take any action while examining this revenue, because we have actually shown the revenue of 900 crore, but in spite of our actual revenue was only 600 crore. So sir, again the independence get lost, right? And now that is the reason, very important thing, this third party, the auditor, should be independent person. He should not be actually in influence of the company. Are you guys getting clear with this? Very important. So that is the reason, sir, auditor should be the independent, and that's why the definition includes that audit is an independent examination. Perfect. Why independent? Did you understood? Perfect. Very clear. So now, sir, this should be the independent examination. Next one. Of what? Financial information. Now please understand, what is financial information, sir? We know auditor is examining the financial statements. Now what is the financial information versus financial statement? Please tell me. Financial information versus financial statements. What is the difference? Please pause the video, understand and tell me the quickly your answer. Even if you are watching this recorded, you have to tell me the answers. Are you guys getting? Yes or no? Please tell me. So sir, your answer should be like, so financial information means whatever the financial transactions have been occurred during the year for which the financial statements are being prepared, and financial statements comprise of this financial information. Clear with this? So financial information is a part of financial statement. Financial information will be presented through the financial statements. Whatever statement, in whatever way I can tell you, I hope you understood. Are you guys getting? Yes, sir. Please tell. So, financial information will be included in the financial statements. Or second statement, financial information will be presented and disclosed through the financial statements. So, financial statement is a medium of expressing, disclosing, presenting what? Financial information. Clear with this? Understood? So now, sir, audit will be of financial statements or financial information. Sir, audit will be the examination of this financial information, and which is nothing but, sir, financial statement. Why? Because financial statement comprise of your financial information only, not than nothing other than that. Perfect. So financial statements will comprise of your financial information. Definitely there would be some other information as well, which is the supportive of your financial information and business transactions in notes to accounts. Perfect. Through disclosure requirements according to Companies Act, Schedule 3, and what beta your accounting standards. Perfect. Clear with this? But audit is what? Examination of this financial information which is comprised through the financial statement. Are you guys getting? Clear with this? Please tell me. So sir, second statement is also clear now of the definition. Now the third thing, of any entity, any sir, not necessary it should be company. No, audit can be of any entity, whether it is company or not, doesn't matter. But sir, then why we talk always that the audit of company? Because audit is mandatory for the company according to Companies Act 2013. Perfect. Clear with this? Audit is mandatory for the company, whether it is private, do not have any criteria. Private company, mandatory audit. Second, public company, mandatory audit, whether that is listed or unlisted, doesn't matter, sir. Every corporate, every company established under the Companies Act 2013 is mandatory with this statutory with this audit. Clear with this? Audit of financial statements or audit of financial information. Clear with this? Very important. So it will be of any entity. If the company is having, let's say, only 1 crore of transactions during the year, doesn't matter, irrespective of its size and nature. So whether that company manufacturing products or providing services or doing anything, sir, audit is mandatory, irrespective of its nature, irrespective of its size, whatever, whether the reliance of thousands of crores turnover, so still the audit is applicable. If the company has been established with the turnover of, let's say, revenue of only 1 crore, still the audit is applicable, since that is company, that is mandatory. But sir, here it is not company, here they are saying, sir, of entity. So please understand, it is not necessary that I will need to perform the audit. Basically, if it is not necessary that only company will get its financial statements or financial information audited. If there is small business which is not the company, okay, it is, let's say, partnership firm, okay, still that partnership firm might get its account audited from a chartered accountant. Are you guys getting? Why, sir? What shall be the benefits of getting their financial statements audited? Very important. They will be able to identify, let's say, I have my partnership firm, okay, we are 3 partners. There are a lot of employees. There are, let's say, hundreds of employees in my partnership firm who are working under us. But we don't know, we can't keep eye on our employees. who is doing wrong or who is actually not performing or whatever they have actually accounted in the books of accounts, whatever they have performed the accounting in the books of accounts. How we can keep a track on each and every transaction? We have to do business, guys. We are partners. We'll be doing the meetings. We'll be busy in that way. How we can keep eye on that everything what is happening in our partnership firm? No, not possible. And that's why whatever the financial statements have been prepared based upon all such transactions where we could not actually keep eye on, I should have reliability on financial information. And for that purpose, sir, I should be able to actually, I should appoint any one person who will be performing audit for my partnership firm's financial information presented through the financial statements. Clear with this? Perfect. And this is the reason that one of the benefit I told you, there are a lot of other benefits. So if I want to take a loan from bank, if I go to bank and ask them, sir, I want the loan of 50 crores, bank will say, what is your financial position? Please tell me, please provide me your financial statements of latest 3 or 2 financial year, let's say of 3 financial years. I'll provide them financial statements and they'll see, sir, these are the financial statements prepared by you. Yes, I told him that I have prepared them. Sir, but whether these are certified by anybody chartered accountant? No, sir, it is not certified. Then bank will actually give back that financial statements to you and they'll tell us that, sir, we cannot actually provide you loan. We cannot actually offer you loan. Why? I asked them, why, sir? Because they told me, bank told me, we don't rely on this financial statement which are prepared by you who want this loan. If you want the loan, you might end up stating any wrong information in your financial statement to influence us, to influence that bank officials to provide, to offer the loan. Are you guys getting? Because if I will be able to show then the good amount of financial position through my balance sheet, then bank will offer me the loan. So even if my business do not have the good financial position as on date, still I will end up making that good financial position by increasing my revenue, by increasing profits, by increasing the assets base, fake transactions, and then I will show that. And that is why bank official is not relying on me, and that's why he is saying, get your financial statements audited by your chartered accountant and then come to us, then show us that financial statements which are audited. Based on that only we will be able to think whether to offer you loan or not. So even if my business is partnership firm who do not have any mandatory requirement of audit, still I'll need to get my accounts audited, my financial statements audited from a chartered accountant, just to have offer of loan from the bank. Are you guys getting? Just to get my loan requirement from the bank. So these are the reasons, these are the advantages, these are the requirements for which there is not requirement that only mandatory companies, only the companies are mandatory, but apart from that there will be the voluntary audits applicable. Please guys, come along with me. These are the 2 types of audit. Please require. Please give me your 100% of concentration. We will actually discuss this concept later on in our notes, but right now I am saying what are the types of audit. There are 2 types of audit. Just a minute. Types of audit. One, it would be the required by law. I told you one example of Companies Act 1913. Which requires every company to get its financial statements audited. And second one is the voluntary audit. Okay, do not write this down. Do not write down this particular thing, types of audit right now. We will cover this particular part later on through our notes. At that time you should write actually, because there are some other points as well in this particular type of audit. Whatever is relevant as of now, that's what I am covering here. Okay. So voluntary audit, I gave you the example of partnership firm. Okay, so you can take any number of examples here. Okay, for the purpose of bank loan. So now it is not required by law. Still I have to actually get my financial statements audited to have the reliability of financial information, reliability on financial statements, FS. Okay, and that's why I will get, if it is my, even if it is my partnership firm, still I will get my financial statements audited by a chartered accountant. Okay, so now look at this. This will be the audit of any entity, sir, of irrespective of its size or irrespective of its, with a view to express an opinion thereon. Now this is the most important thing. What opinion, sir? What opinion they have to give? Look at our story, sir. What we covered here, sir. This third person has came into picture just to secure the interest of the stakeholders, right? And what kind of interest? Interest is with respect to the financial information, whether that is correct or not. Okay, are you guys getting? Now please come into now please give your 100% attention. So this financial information include your financial statements, right? Now will be comprised through your financial statements. Now just take an example of, let's say, Reliance Industries. Okay, what is the revenue of Reliance Industries? Do you guys know? Sure, let's check it out. What is the revenue of Reliance Industries? We'll check it immediately, sir. Just give me a second. I'll open Money Control and we'll check it out. What is the revenue of this Reliance Industries? Just a minute, guys. Please wait it. I have to make this subject very practical, guys. So please understand. It is very important for you all to understand this subject very practically. Just a minute. Okay, I will display you this one. Okay, so now check it out, guys. What is the revenue of Reliance? Okay, we are taking the example of Reliance, right? So, sir, Reliance Industries. Sure. It is Reliance Industry. I'll go and check it out. What is the revenue of Reliance Industries? This is the site Money Control. This is the website of Money Control, where you will get the lot of information about the companies. Okay, there are a lot of other websites as well. Okay, now what we have to actually check it out, sir? Financials. Now check it out here. Here there is a financial tab. Okay, this one. So now here in these financials, you will get certain information in very statistical format as well as the tabular format. Just a minute. Why it is hanging here? Check it out. What is the revenue of company? In March 2021, the Reliance revenue consolidated. Now do not look at the consolidated and standalone. Okay, just look at this number for the purpose of right now information. 154,896 crore. Oh sir, 154,896 rupees in crore. Rupees in crores. 154,896. Now come back to our example. $154,896 rupees in crores. So how many transactions those would be? 1,55,000 crores approximately, sir. There would be the lakhs of transaction. Let's say there are 20 crore transaction. Now we won't get this information, how many transactions those were. We won't get information, that is not publicly available. Yes or no? So guys, these are the 20 crore transactions approximately. Now please tell me, if I am the auditor, if you are the auditor, chalo, you are the auditor of Reliance Industries, you went to audit this particular company. Okay, so you go to Reliance office and tell them, sir, give me the backup of these all 20 crore revenue transactions. They'll tell you, are you mad? No sir, I'm not mad. I am a chartered accountant student. I want to check this. I want to examine this. My chartered accountancy sir told me that, so my CA sir, who is actually signing this audit, and sir, under which I am actually performing this particular assignment, I need to actually examine your financial statements, and that's why, sir, your revenue is of 1,55,000 crores, and that includes approximately 20 crore transactions, sir. I need to have a backup of all 20 crore transactions. that person will actually call your boss and tell your article assistant is mad, mental, please admit him, please take care of him. And how can you say to check up the 20 crore transaction? Not at all possible, sir. Even if you spend day and night over there for number of months, still you won't be able to perform and check out this, examine this 20 crore transaction. Not at all possible. And this is just of revenue, guys. You have here the purchase, you have here the expenses, you have the balance sheet, assets and liabilities. All that things you have to check it out. And that is the reason, sir, we cannot examine this entire thing. Please tell me. We cannot examine this entire thing. We discussed this in lecture 1 as well, right? Since we cannot examine this entire thing of 20 crores, what we can do? Please guys, remember lecture number 1, chapter number 7, audit sampling. I gave you an example that, sir, you will be performing the testing of what? Less than 100% transactions. Less than 100% transactions. So now here the transactions are 20 crore. Let's say you perform the testing of 500 transactions only. You examine this 500 transactions only out of this 20 crore transaction, and based upon that 500 transactions, you are saying whether these 20 crore transactions are correct or not. Sir, how we will be able to tell that on 500 transactions only, by we are checking only 500 transactions of revenue, how can we say that whether that entire 20 crore transactions are correct or not? Not at all possible. We can say only on the basis of 500 transaction, and that is the reason you won't be able to say that whether these 20 crore transactions are correct or not. And to avoid this issue, the next wording comes to picture, that you don't need to actually give your opinion. What you are saying, sir, here, what you are doing here, what you are doing, what is the objective of examining these financial statements ka revenue? What is the objective of this? To check it out whether this 1,55,000 crores are proper or not, whether this is proper or not, whether this is appropriate or not, whether in actual the revenue is much more than this or much lower than this, or exactly this much. We need to examine that, right? And for that thing, sir, there are 20 crore transactions, but we are not able to check out entire 20 crore transaction. That's why we are checking only 500 transactions which are possible. And for 500 transactions, we are saying, we are checking out whether there is any discrepancy, whether there is any inaccuracy between in this particular 500 transactions. If we check it out, sir, these 500 transactions are okay. There is no any mistake, there is no any error, there is no any fraud in these 500 transactions. Based on that 500 transactions opinion, you will be concluding on your revenue of 20 crore transactions of 1,55,000 crores. Are you guys getting absolutely clear with this? Okay. Whatever I just told you, that is one part of story. Are you guys getting? There will be a lot of other things as well involved in actual audit, what we will learn in your next further chapters. So for the time being, just please understand, we will not be able to provide the correctness opinion, whether we can say that all these 20 crore transactions are correct. No, sir, because we are not testing entire 20 crore transaction. We are not examining entire 20 crore. We are just examining 500 transactions. And based on that, we should be able to provide the opinion on 20 crore transaction, because we have to provide the opinion on entire financial information. You cannot say of these 500 transactions which comprise of revenue of only 20 crore. So we will be able to actually check it out that 20 crore, and that 20 crore is correct, sir. But what about the remaining 1,54,876 crores? So how we will be able to check it out that remaining? So we should not be providing opinion on that remaining 1,54,876 crore. Not at all, yaar. Then what is the meaning of this audit? Are you guys getting? What is the meaning of performing the audit for only 20 crore transactions? The majority of the chunk is not absolutely examined. And that is the reason, guys, you will be performing lot of such procedures to examine this 1,55,000 crore approximately. Okay, not just this one 500 transactions, but lot of other things you will perform. That we will learn in the further chapters. But for the time being, we are not able to state we are not able to actually conclude, we are not able to give the opinion on entire 20 crore as correctness, and to substitute this, avoid this particular limitation. What is this? This is limitation. Because of this limitation of what? Sampling. This activity is of sampling, right? We discussed this in lecture number 1. So this activity of selecting 500 transactions out of 20 crore transactions and examining only 500 transactions and give opinion on entire 20 crore transactions. This activity is of what? Sampling. Selection of 500 transactions, less than 100% items. That is what you are sampling. But now, sir, we have to give opinion on entire 20 crore transactions. We are not able to give the correctness opinion, and to substitute it, we are giving the opinion as fair. What is the difference between correct and fair? What is the difference between correct and fair? When we are 100% confident, then we can say that, sir, it is correct. When we are not 100% confident, then we can say that, sir, it is fair. Sir, when we have absolute assurance means what? Do you know what is the difference between insurance and assurance? So it will be out of track. But what I want to say is, assurance means when I am saying something to you guys, you just have to Google it out, just for your other knowledge purpose. Insurance versus assurance wording, have very good understanding. Next, that is homework for you. Okay, so what I want to explain all of you is, what is assurance? Assurance means something I am giving you, not the guarantee. I am not giving you guarantee, yeah, because if I say guarantee, then I am very much confident. If I am very much confident, then that guarantee will be absolute assurance. Okay, guarantee is your absolute assurance, but I cannot give the absolute assurance. Assurance means I am saying something very confidently to you, but not the 100% confidence. Whether that 100% is or not, for that particular thing, we are adding this word, absolute. When I say I am 100% confident on something, whatever I am disclosing to you, whatever I am concluding, whatever I am giving you opinion, that is your absolute assurance. When I am not 100% confident, then it is my reasonable assurance. Please understand, these are the most important wordings of your audit. Reasonable assurance. What is absolute? When I can say, sir, very confidently, 100% confidently, that this something opinion what I am giving, that is correct, but sir, due to this limitation of sampling, we cannot say that, and that is the reason, sir, very important thing, we cannot say something is correct, we cannot say something by 100% confidence, we cannot take absolute assurance, we can just have this fair opinion, we can just be tell that based upon not being not 100% confident, being just taking reasonable assurance. And that is the reason, guys, whenever you give the opinion according to your definition, look at it, this last part of definition, with a view, what is my objective? What is my objective? This is my objective. This is my objective. I have to reach somewhere. What is that somewhere? That is one of the part is this one. That I have to give opinion. To whom I would be giving this opinion, guys? For whom I am performing this audit? For shareholders, majorly, and for stakeholders. Are you guys getting? And majorly, sir, I am performing this audit for these shareholders who have the financial interest, but who cannot take part in the business, who will not be involved in the business, but who have invested their money, which is hard-earned money, and to secure their financial interest, we are giving them opinion on the financial statements, whether those are true and fair or not. So ultimate objective, ultimate goal of this examination activity is to provide the opinion to such shareholders, such stakeholders, such users of financial statements. All these people are what? Your users of financial statement. Users means what? The person who is using that financial for the purpose of some activity, some decision making. Are you guys getting clear with this? So now, sir, this is what my ultimate objective to provide the opinion. And which opinion, sir, I will be providing? I'll not be able to provide the correct opinion. I'll not be able to provide the correctness opinion. I'll be able to provide the opinion as fair opinion on the financials. Why fair opinion? Because one of the major limitation. This is your one of the major inherent limitation. Inherent means what? Inherent means what? Inherent means which I cannot avoid. Which I cannot avoid. Which one cannot avoid? Please tell me whether it is possible to avoid this limitation. If we are not able to test the entire 20 crore transactions, and that's the reason we have to just test only 500 transactions. This is my limitation. Whether I can avoid this limitation? No, sir. Unless and until you are God, you cannot avoid that. So, sir, it is not practically possible. So, sir, which one cannot avoid? Clear with this? This is the one of the major inherent limitation. Please understand, this is your most important MCQ from examination perspective. This is how we will cover the entire question and answers of your exams as well, including objective question, including subjective questions, because I know I have gone through entire RTPs while preparing the question and answer back. Each and every question I have covered the detailed sessions of RTPs, MTPs, entire question bank, detailed 100% question bank sessions I have covered. So I know which questions are there in RTPs from your May 2018, even in old course as well as new course. I have gone through everything, each and everything, which questions are there in RTPs, MTPs, ICS study material, every damn thing possible, practice manual of old course, everything. Okay, and that's why I'll be giving you such references during the classes for this. Are you guys getting? So this is one of the reference, that this is one of the most important question from your examination perspective. What is one of the major inherent limitation that auditor cannot give true and correct opinion? True and correct. Please add one word to this: true and correct. True and fair. True means whether that is true or not, whether that is fake or not. Okay, so we'll not be able to give true and correct opinion, but we'll be able to give true and fair opinion. Perfect. Clear with this? Are you guys clear? We'll cover this particular question of inherent limitation, one of the major important question, descriptive question from your examination perspective. We will cover that, okay, in our next session probably. Are you guys clear with this? But for the timing, please look at this. This is what you are that much question. But we will cover that in our next session. For the timing, guys, did you understood what is this entire audit definition? Chalo. Along with me, what you have to write it down. What you can do is, now you can just refer the class slide, whatever I'll be uploading, okay, and based on that you can write it down, whatever you find relevant for all of you, okay, out of this whatever I have written in the on the whiteboard. But very important part which you must not miss, that is this definition. Now this definition is given by Standard on Auditing 200. What is the name of this standard? Please look at this. Overall objectives of the independent auditor. Overall objectives of the independent auditor for the audit of financial statement. There is big title, but for the time being, guys, please understand this. Are you guys getting? I have written down that, okay. Look at this: overall objectives of the independent auditor for the audit of an financial, or for the audit of financial statement. This is the main title. Okay, clear with this? So now, what is this standard on auditing? I told you now in lecture number 1 that there are certain standards, there are certain principles. Now, who have issued these standards? That all we will cover in our next lecture, next coming lectures. Okay, but for the time being, guys, there are different numbers. So 200, 210, 220, 230, 250. Are you guys getting? Every such numbers have been issued to each and every standard which deals with each and every issue, which deals with each and every major things. Okay, so one of the standard which is the basic standard of your entire auditing, that is SA 200, which deals about overall objectives of the auditor. What are the objectives of the auditor? One of the major objective I told you, to provide the opinion. That is the end, right? To provide the opinion. That is the purpose for which we are performing the audit. Purpose, that is the objective. That is what I want to achieve. Are you guys clear with this? And that's why. Please look at this definition. Chalo guys, let's move to our notes and just check out this definition. Definition of auditing. As per SA 200, okay, an audit is an, please just make here one thing, audit is an A and D, we have to make it grammatically correct as well. Audit is an independent examination, clear with this, of financial information of any entity, whether that is profit oriented or not, doesn't matter sir, profit oriented or not, whether that is non-profit organization, still it will be applicable with the audit. If required, that NPO can get it financial statements audited. If that is profit oriented, yes sir, fine. NPO, yes sir, fine. Still this definition would be applicable to them. Okay, next, irrespective of its size or legal form, I told you, yes or no? When such examination is conducted with a view to express an opinion there. Clear with this? Please revise this definition. Please pick up this definition 5 times by pause your video, speak actually, and even if anybody who is around you will tell that this person has gone mad now, who is speaking with phone, fine, no issues. You have to achieve knowledge, you have to achieve maximum possible score in this paper, you have to do this. Okay, so pause your video, pause your lecture, actually check it out, read out this definition 5 times, and not just within your mind, read out loudly. That audit is an independent examination of financial information of any entity, whether profit oriented or not, irrespective of its size and legal form or nature, irrespective of its size or legal form, with a view to express an opinion thereon. With a view to express an opinion thereon. Clear with this? Perfect. When such an examination is conducted with a view to express an opinion thereon. 5 times you have to say this loudly. Guys, please check it out. Okay, I hope you understood this one. Now sir, next part. Okay, once you are done with that definition, you will come to this. Okay, and now this definition you have to write it down in your notebook, very important definition, and you have to write it down in such a way what I have written down here in pointer format. Okay, okay, so what you have to do, you have to write down every part of that definition. I have just covered here the majority of your keywords, so you have to write down properly what is there in our notes. Okay, but just make it sure that you should write down in such a way that dash 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 dash, so you will be able to remember that definition very properly during the revisions. Okay, clear with this? Sure. Now sir, next, we understood sir, one of the objective of the auditor is to provide an opinion, to express an opinion, right, based upon my definition. Now there are 2 objectives basically. One of the objective is this one what we have discussed, and the second objective is very much related to that, without which actually you won't be able to provide the opinion, that we already discussed, to obtain the reasonable assurance. So there are 2 objectives of auditing. Again, the examination question it can be. There are 2 objectives of audit. First, to obtain the reasonable assurance. What sir? About what? Reasonable assurance about what? About whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement. Now this wording of free from material misstatement we will cover in detail in our next lecture. Okay, but very simple thing, if I want to say you for the time being, material misstatements means any such error, any such wrong thing which have been occurred in the financial statements, which will affect the decision making of users of financial statement. Are you guys getting? Who are the users, sir? Users of financial statements, stakeholders of the company. Are you guys getting? So stakeholders are the users. stakeholders plus anybody else who is not do not have any relation with the company but is absolutely taking decision whether to have the relation or not, that person can also be the user of financial statement. So sir, if such information which is wrong in the financial statement, if that information is going to affect such user of financial statement adversely to my decision making based upon that financial statements, then sir it is material mistake. Misstate means some things are wrong, okay, which it should be and what is actual. The difference between these two is misstatement. Very simple definition, just to understand, not to write in exam. Please understand. Misstatement means what it should be, what it is actual, what it should be according to accounting standard, what it should be according to legal laws and regulation, what it is actual in financial statement. The difference between these two is your misstatement, only misstatement. When this misstatement, when this difference is such huge, such big, that it is going to affect my decision making of user of financial statement, then it is material misstatement. If it is not going to affect my decision making, but it is, there is some difference, but that difference is so small. So let's say revenue was actual, in actual the revenue was according to the revenue, actual invoice was of let's say 1000 rupees, okay. So accounting standard, according to accounting standard, you have to recognize the revenue, you have to book the revenue, you have to make a entry, accounting entry of revenue of rupees 1000. Mistakenly you make the entry of let's say 1000 rupees, 1 rupee difference between these two. There is a misstatement, yes absolutely sir, because what it should be 1000 rupees, what it is actual recorded in the books of accounts 1001, it's a difference of rupees 1, misstatement. But whether this is material misstatement, whether rupees 1 difference going to affect my decision making, no sir, and that is why this is immaterial. What I told you guys, please understand. I was supposed to explain you this concept in next lecture, but please understand. Immaterial. Material means which affects the decision making, which is so huge and such a big difference which is affecting my decision. But sir, if it is not affecting my decision making, then it is immaterial. Clear with this? Perfect. Very important. Now what I am saying, sir, I should be able to obtain such reasonable assurance that the financial statement as a whole, means complete financial statement as a whole, means a P&L plus balance sheet plus cash flow plus notes. Do not miss this. It is a part of financial statements. And then sir, SOKI. If it is Ind AS financial statement, sir, then SOKI. So if the entire financial statement, the reasonable assurance I have to obtain over the entire financial statements as a whole, free from material misstatement. So sir, there is no material misstatement. Free. There is no material misstatement. Free from material misstatement. Financial statements are free from material misstatement, means there is no material misstatement involved in financials. Did you understood? And this is what I have to achieve. This is what my one of the objective. Whether to check it out that the financial statements are free from material misstatement or not. Please understand, my objective is not to prove that those are free from material misstatement. No, my objective is to check whether the financial statements are free from material misstatement or not. They might be free from material misstatement or they might not be free from material. I want to check it out. That is what my objective. So what is my first objective, guys? Please check it out. According to ASET 200, overall objectives of an independent auditor to obtain the reasonable assurance. I want to take reasonable assurance, not the absolute assurance. Next examination question, which can be there in correct or incorrect or MCQ form. I don't want to take absolute assurance. Why I cannot take absolute assurance? I just told you before some time. Because I cannot say, sir, my examination is 100% confident, because I have not performed the 100% examination. And I could not perform. It is not possible. Because of that inherent limitation, because of such limitation which I cannot avoid, sir, I'm not 100% confident, means I cannot obtain absolute assurance. I have obtained only a reasonable assurance. Reasonable. And that's why I am providing my opinion whether the financial statements, I want to check to obtain the reasonable assurance. Firstly, obtain the reasonable assurance. Decide based upon whatever you have to obtain the reasonable assurance. You have to obtain that. What reasonable assurance about what? Whether that financial statements are free from material misstatements or not. And the second objective, once you obtain the reasonable assurance, then sir, provide the opinion and report that opinion. Now, whenever I will be getting the opinion, I will be ready with my opinion, whether those are free from material misstatement or not. So, whether that is true and fair or not. Free from material misstatement means true and fair. Whether, sir, that is true and fair or not, I will be able to provide the opinion. To whom I will be providing this opinion, sir? Shareholders, majorly shareholders of the company, of which the financial interest has to be secured, along with stakeholders, definitely. To whom I am providing this opinion? Shareholders. Please tell me whether I will be actually going to the public and on roadshow, I will be making the roadshow and say that I have performed the audit of Reliance Industries Limited, and according to me, my opinion is that the Reliance Industries financial statements for this year ended are true and fair. Whether I'll be able to do this roadshow or something like this? No, sir. Are you mad? No, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. I'll not be able to do that. I have to give one written documentation. I have to give that written documentation to every shareholder by writing down my opinion, detailed opinion. And that written down, whatever I'll be providing to them, that is my audit report. And that is what my second objective, to report on the financial statements and communicate to whom? The shareholders of the company as required by the standards, accordance with the auditor's findings. Findings means what I have actually got through my examination. What is the output of examination? What is the conclusion of, what are the observations of examination? Okay, that are what my findings. Based upon that, in accordance with my findings, I have to report on what? Financial statements, and have to communicate that as required by standards on auditing. These are my two objectives. Guys, please revise this. Very, very important. Again, pause the video, lecture, revise this. And now we shall stop here for the time being. The next part we will cover from our next lecture. Since this is the starting lectures, this subject is very new for all of you. I don't want to make it for 90 minutes or 120 minutes. Definitely, you won't be able to actually sustain that much. So please be patient. Whatever you are learning right now, just keep that in your mind. Keep revising that. Try to understand that from the practical life, logical perspectively, and then build up your technical language. That is the most important for examination perspective as well as practical perspective. I hope, guys, we could cover only 2 points, right? But that's how it will take a time of this particular subject. But entire subject will cover in reasonable time. Don't worry about it. Okay, clear with this? Initial 10 to 15 lectures will take time because this subject will be new. Once 10 lectures are over, next onwards, you will be very much mature with this subject then, and it will be easy for you to grasp this. Okay, clear with this? So for the time being, we are stopping here with this lecture. I hope you understood this everything. Since this lecture is available on YouTube, so I am saying, if you guys really like this lecture, please guys like this video, share this with maximum of your friends, and get enrolled to the course. It will be the amazing experience with the maximum practical learning and the maximum marks possibility in examination. Okay, take care of yourself. Be positive, be confident. We'll meet in the next lecture with the further part of this particular chapter. Goodbye.